Well, welcome to season 2 of the creative process with your girl Angie Be Creative. I am just so excited about what is going to transpire this season. I have a list of so many great creatives. But before we even move forward, I want to take a look back. No, I'm not about living in the past, but I want to just highlight some of the great moments with all of my creative gang from season 1. I appreciate each and every one of them who came on to the show. I just want to take the time to appreciate all of my creative gang who came on to the creative process and just dropped so many gems. I really love and appreciate each and every one of them, from Tracy Lee to Jessica Harvey Duranda, Vernon Bird, Berkeley the Artist, Reggie Nicholas, Shay Keju, Darren Walker, Sean Keys, Rayon Ramsey, Ishmael Cotton, Kevin Lampton, Megan Park, Yada E, Dominique Louis Lemier, and Jared Green. What should you expect from episode 1 of season 2 of the creative process? It's a series of different highlighted moments that really impacted me and touched me, and I know that it touched you in a very special way. So stay tuned and enjoy. Oh, and don't forget, after this episode at 9 p.m., join the after party on Clubhouse. It's already pre-scheduled. If you visit my Instagram page at Angie Be Creative, I have the link in my bio. Also, if you're on Facebook right now, find that post. The link is in the post. I want you to join. I know the after party conversation is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see you there. Well, welcome to season 2 of the creative process with your girl Angie Be Creative. I am just so excited about what is going to transpire this season. I have a list of so many great creatives. But before we even move forward, I want to take a look back. No, I'm not about living in the past, but I want to just highlight some of the great moments with all of my creative gang from season 1. I appreciate each and every one of them who came on to the show. I just want to take the time to appreciate all of my creative gang who came on to the creative process and just dropped so many gems. I really love and appreciate each and every one of them, from Tracy Lee to Jessica Harvey Duranda, Vernon Bird, Berkeley the Artist, Reggie Nicholas, Shay Keju, Darren Walker, Sean Keys, Rayon Ramsey, Ishmael Cotton, Kevin Lampton, Megan Park, Yada E, Dominique Louis Lemier, and Jared Green. What should you expect from episode 1 of season 2 of the creative process? It's a series of different highlighted moments that really impacted me and touched me, and I know that it touched you in a very special way. So stay tuned and enjoy. Oh, and don't forget, after this episode at 9 p.m., join the after party on Clubhouse. It's already pre-scheduled. If you visit my Instagram page at Angie Be Creative, I have the link in my bio. Also, if you're on Facebook right now, find that post. The link is in the post. I want you to join. I know the after party conversation is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see you there. Woohoo! It's time to hop into season 2's episode 1. We're doing a recap of my creative gang members. I'm so excited. We're going to start off with guest creative Shay Keju, and then we're going to roll into other creative gang members. So stay tuned.
For me, a big part of being creative, or my creativity, my ideas, my thoughts, I talked about that in the beginning, stems from purpose, right? God, what is it that you want me to do? I said earlier, Matthew 5, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. I am an earth agent right now. As of now, I don't know about y'all, but I live on earth. I don't know if we have anybody from other planets or other dimensions on here, but as a kingdom earth agent, you know, the Bible says you can't be so heavenly minded you know earthly good. And that's said for a reason, because while we are here on earth, there is an agenda, like I said. So for me, it starts with that kingdom agenda, which I find in prayer. And so the element for me, for my creative process, starts in prayer. It starts in my personal relationship. And I'm not even being deep, like I spend an hour a day laying on my face. Really, no, it's that constant communication with God. Is this it, God? Like, why did I, or even, and when I say that, even with myself, because again, we're made in his image and his likeness. So those conversations that I have with myself, I know Angie and I talked about how we talk so often. I am definitely a talker outer. Like, I will talk the thought out until the thought can't be thunk anymore. Okay. I have to talk it out. And so I have these conversations with God, and I'm just calling it prayer because that's what prayer is, a conversation with God. And it's like, okay, what is the overall goal of me chasing this venture, or me, you know, tapping into this creative journey or process for a particular reason? So that is definitely an element. Prayer is one of the main elements.
In a bit, I want her to take the moment to speak to the creative who's just starting off, who may be stuck in fear, who maybe you lost your inspiration. You're looking for something to re-spark that inspiration. You're looking for a new creative identity or direction. I want you to just speak to those creatives out there. Leave them with another nugget besides all the other nuggets you dropped today. So I want you to take a moment to speak to them right now.
Well, hello there, creative. Thank you for joining us today. This is what I hear. This is what I hear. I'm going to pull this from my spirit. As soon as you said that, what came to my mind was, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So I want to tell you that you can do it. You can do it. Everything in your life that's telling you that you can't do it is a lie. Any voice that's telling you that you can't do it, it can't happen, you won't do it, that you're not enough, that you're incapable, is a lie. You are capable. You are enough. God deposited everything that you needed to do everything he has purposed and destined you to do. He deposited it inside of you since the day you were conceived. And I'm not talking about conceived in your mother's womb, conceived in the womb of God, in the womb of eternity, that you're able to do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And just because you experience setbacks does not mean that you can't be successful.
Just being touched by the things that Jessica is saying, and I'm actually taking notes, and I'm gonna go and watch the replay myself because I feel like as a creative, you should always want to learn and grow. As Jessica stated, you should surround yourself with other creatives that push you to reevaluate your creative process, that you can grab things that you like from their creative process, that you can actually learn and grow, because we should always strive to be lifelong learners. So like I said, I'm learning something right now. And just with period, Pooh. And just with just retelling the story of how I just can't let that go. At the end, I'm gonna have her to speak to the people who have gone through pain like hers, or who can't relate but who have gone through pain. But let's move forward. So I believe she already did this for me, but I want to ask again. Define a creative, or what is creativity for me? What does it mean to you?
Creativity to me, creativity is when when you're able to make something, because that's what it is. Create is to make. So when you're able to make something that does not exist based off of a vision, a dream, or even just a moment, or a creation is to make. We're still at making because that's the basis of it. Making something that already exists better, that you're enhancing it, or that you're perfecting it. And I think that's what really means to be creative to me. And I think that we all are creative, and we find our creative niche in different ways and at different times. And different things push different people to be creative. Because me,
absolutely,
I may listen to a song and say, man, this is perfect just the way it is. But like I see Ishmael on here right now. Ishmael may listen to it and say, what is that? That is absolutely horrible. You could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. I feel like that's what another piece of creativity is. Just that, each of us have our own way of thinking. Or the other example, like I tell people all the time, right now, I'm not the only person that makes cheesecake. I'm not the only person that makes desserts. I'm not the only person that makes sweets. But there is going to be something different about each person that makes it. I have somebody I went to school with. She makes cheesecakes, but she makes it like the thick New York style cheesecake. Mine doesn't taste like that. Mine isn't like that. And so when you go to Walmart, let's take it into something as simple as cotton balls. You go to Walmart right now, you may have 5 different brands of cotton balls. Or toilet paper. Right. Okay, let's even think about toilet paper, because people are serious about their toilet paper, okay? I may like Charmin, okay? I might like Charmin. You may be okay with Great Value. You may be okay with Angel Sauce. But guess what? At the end of the day, everybody is eating. Everybody is getting money. Nobody's lacking. Everybody is still getting it, because there's something different about each one. And there is something that somebody likes about each one. Somebody may not necessarily like the feel of Great Value, but they like the cost of Great Value. Somebody may not like I know this is really graphic for me to be talking about toilet paper, but still, somebody may say, it leave a little something up there when I wipe, when I use Charmin, and I don't like that one. Whatever it is, everybody has their reason for using whatever it is that they use. You get what I'm saying? So when we're being creative, we cannot limit ourselves just because there's somebody else doing what we do.
Wrap up every show with my guest creative, just encouraging the people out there, those creatives that are going to cross this video, because I believe this is your time to birth creativity. Whatever you've been sitting on. Personally, the way that I birthed this show, the creative process, was during COVID-19. I just remember just being tired of hearing about people just dying left and right, and even thinking about my life and the things that God has put in my hand. And I know my pastor preached, Pastor W.B. Moore, and she preached a message, what's in your hand. And it was just saying, what do you have? What did God give you? What are you doing with it? And it's time to birth it. So I know personally for me, this was an awakening moment. I told God, if you allow me to live, I'm going to go hard after the things that you told me to do, the things that I've been sitting on for years. And I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna get off my do nothing.
Come on.
And I'm gonna do something. Okay. So I want Kevin to look directly into the camera and to encourage those people who are watching this live who have a lot of something they're sitting on. And I'm not talking about cushion, okay? You have a lot of something that you're sitting on, but you're doing nothing.
Well, I just want to tell everybody, and I do this every show, that I'll say things like "You're amazing," and I'll use my little slider so I don't forget it. Um, One of the things that I'll say is like "You're amazing" and don't forget it. And I wanted people to realize that, because I realize a lot of people struggle with understanding how much they're worth, and that they're beautiful, and they're wonderful, and their ideas are so cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we get caught up in, I can't do this the way he does it, or the way she does it, so I'm not as valuable. So I wanted to make sure every morning I would tell them that, like, you are amazing and don't you forget it. So I'm going to tell y'all this: you are amazing and don't you forget it. And I'm going to say it the way that I say it on the show. Don't you let no picky head, nappy head, curly head, straight hair head, bald head, anybody tell you anything different. And I say that because I'm telling you, you'd be surprised how one person tells you that you're not amazing and you buy into it. And you forget that, wait, so the whole time I actually was really that cool? Yes, you are. So I try to find ways to say that every time. So I guess I'll say that again to you all. You are amazing and don't you forget it. Like, walking, walking, whatever gifts you got, make it happen. I ain't got to be able to play like, I'm gonna use my boy Brandon Butler. I can't play like that dude. That dude is a beast. But I can joke. He can't joke like me. I can't play like him, but he can't joke like me. Actually, he could, because the dude is a beast in that too, but he just don't use it the way I do it. So everybody got their own gifts. Use what you're good at and just make it happen.
Well, okay, so one of the biggest points I got from what you just said was we are ever evolving. You said that
Yep.
you are no longer the man that you were when you first moved there. And I think that's beautiful because we are to evolve and we are to be lifelong learners and constantly expand and shed our old selves and become new. And I feel like if you're not evolving, what are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
Are,
Yeah. You're
are
dying.
you learning? Are you expanding? It's important to evolve. And
That's right.
I just love that you all have always been risk takers and daring. I remember because I know I used to do babysitting gigs for you, and I would gain so much wisdom. And I remember I was scared to take the leap to do something. And you said something to the effect of, it was like I couldn't figure out how to do something. And you were like, well, I don't know what you're doing. If you can't figure out how to do that, that's simple. And you made me really reflect and be like, well, dang, that is pretty simple. Why am I making such a big deal out of this this molehill when I want this molehill, right? So
Right.
you just helped me to like start thinking on a bigger level. So maybe
Yeah.
you're a part of my process. So thank you for
Hey,
being you.
absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
but
But
now,
I like what you said, Ange, in terms of um, if you're not growing, then what are you doing? And a lot of times, if you're not growing, not that there aren't seasons of rest, because that is a part of the growth process,
yeah,
right? Like, you have to push yourself to capacity, and then there's this sort of ebb and flow where you also rest and then you push again, kind of a thing. But but if there is just a life of no resistance, no challenge, no expansion, or I believe you're actually atrophying. And, if you're not sort of growing, you're kind of dying in a way. And so I think it's imperative to look for sort of the next frontier, but yet always having a sense of, I like the way my brother, says it. My brother Danny says, to be content, but not to be complacent.
mm,
So I'm content in areas of my life, but I'm not complacent. I am still looking for opportunities to improve. I'm looking for opportunities to expand, to grow, which is why, reading is so imperative, right? Like, you need to be able to access other people's knowledge quickly and inexpensively. Yeah. And, that's where I think where reading is probably one of the best ways to make sure that you're continuing to grow. And that's one of the ways that I sort of nurture, myself, my creative process, is by listening to others, because I do like to share, I do like to pour out, but it's nice also to have someone pour back into you.
Now, let's talk about this. Why do you call yourself Jared the Dreamer? How did that name come about?
I should have got a list of questions. This is going to be interesting. Why do I call myself?
It's a candid conversation.
It's a candid conversation. I call myself the Dreamer, I think, because at one point I couldn't dream. So what I say by that is, of course, there's the dream that we think about when we go to sleep at night. But then there's also the daydream. There's so many variations. So when I think about dream, I think about vision. So at one point in my life, a few years ago, I couldn't see how to get there from here in that moment. And so being a visionless and dreamless person, that disturbed me, and that caused a series of things. But slowly but surely, I fell into depression. And so, of course, the specific actual name, The Dreamer, was an idea that I had. My story, I feel as though, relates a lot to Joseph in the Bible, and a lot of people in the movies and in storytelling call him Joseph the Dreamer for a variety of different reasons. God has blessed me with a variety of different gifts, and maybe or maybe not, we may not go into that right now, but a wise man once taught me, though, that you're not who you say you are, you who everyone else say you are. So that's not really measuring your success on anybody's ruler, because you don't want to do that. But at the end of the day, that means that you just put in the work, and people will let you know exactly who you are.
Absolutely.
So I had this name in my mind of The Dreamer, but it wasn't until December 2019, so that's about 7-8 months ago, when Black Enterprise did an article on me. So I had been floating that name, The Dreamer, out there, but I hadn't yet switched it over on my Instagram handles. I was still just JR Green. But without me necessarily sending this name to them, the article said The Dreamer sets his sights on New Orleans as a nonprofit founder. And so I was in Portland at the time, Oregon. The mayor's office had sent me out there for some classes and to do some training on how to actually measure impact, which is something that I was extremely interested in and had been asking God to reveal to me. But upon seeing that name, ever since then, I've become the dreamer. So I wasn't a dreamer until I was able to manifest my vision, and that's how I got that name.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Now, why were you afraid of saying that?
I wasn't afraid. I'm bashful. I'm
okay. Shy. Oh my goodness, you're not bashful.
But my thought process behind that was, God can't send you unless you pack your bags and place them at the door.
You always tell me that.
So that, and it's the God honest truth. You can't wait till it rains to buy an umbrella, and you have to be prepared to go. You can't wait until it's time for the plane to take off to want to start packing your bags. It just doesn't work like that. There's a process to everything under the sun, and I won't go too much into seed planting and all the rest of that things, but everything has a timing. Timing is almost everything.
See, I get to hear all that good stuff.
So every day, because we got some things we're working on right now. But literally, how can you expect God to move on your behalf when you haven't done the little things that God has asked you to do? And so sometimes, God will move for you, and he'll move your right foot, but you got to move your left foot. And so a lot of times we consider ourselves, I believe, as waiting on God. But God is omnipresent, so in a lot of ways he's only ever waiting on you. Omnipresent means he's in your past, your present, and in your future. So just like a seed that I would plant, I have a expectancy on that seed. So if there's a creature in my belly is my example of a seed, I still expect to sell over, and you hear it here, because I'm going to continue to declare that, over 100,000, 250,000 copies of this book. How can I sell 250 copies or 250,000 copies of this book without an EIN number? How can I get a business to write me a check? How can I get another publishing company to want to carry my book if I'm not prepared to be able to release it to that point? If I'm not ready to go out and share this book with the world, although I've already reached 2 million impressions, right? Although I've already reached a number of different people, a certain social media following, that's all fluff, and it's all great.
Yeah.
But you got to have that foundation and that backbone so that when you do go up and the inevitable ups and downs in life come around, you have that foundation that you can always stand on. So that's what Dream Books Publishing LLC truly is. It's a launching pad. It's a foundation for what's to come in the future. And of course, I also hope to be able to carry in the future other people's children's
That's
books.
what I was wondering.
And so you have.
I want you to talk to those people out there with that untapped potential, those stars in the making, those people who want to make their dreams turn into reality, those people who may have gotten fired from a job and want to start an organization or write a song or write a book or just be creative. Like, I want you to just take a moment and just encourage them and talk to them and talk to that inner star.
Okay, let me think.
Okay. You're so silly.
Okay, so I think to any person who has a dream and you're scared and you are discouraged and you feel like that dream is too big and it's just a dream, I think the thing is that when you think about it, if that dream is coming to you, you have to understand that no one else probably have that specific dream. So it is the reason you have that dream. It is the reason you have that gift. It is the reason you have that desire and that love. And why not manifest it? Because it's needed, it's wanted in this world. And you need that dream. You need that vision. The people connected to you, your family, you may be that chosen person in your family. If you feel different, I guarantee you are different. But don't look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as too much is given, much is required, right? That may be hard. That may be hard to understand, but you are that person who can change that. And how honorable is that? Like, if God bless you with that and you have a part to change the world and to change your family, why not do it? Do it. Do it. You deserve it. Your family deserve it. The world deserve it. Your children deserve it. Your children's children deserve it. Yeah, plant that seed. Go after that dream. It's okay if you're fired. It's all a part of the process. Because in order for you to be a leader, you have to go through things. You can't be up here with nothing down here, right? That just doesn't make sense. So in order for you to be the leader, you have to go through the position of being the janitor, the secretary, the person who understands what it takes to be a leader. So go through this process. Don't look at it as a bad thing. And keep dreaming, keep doing it. Like, do it, do it, do it, because no one else can do it, and but you. That's your power. So do it. Another thing before we go, when when you're favored, I've been saying this so much. Like, when you're favored, things don't make sense. And it won't make sense. It will not make sense. It will seem like, why me? Like, favored is even when it doesn't, I don't even I'm not even qualified for this, right? I didn't want to be a business owner growing up. I never said I wanted to be a business owner, but I feel like that's God's favor. Like, you have this gift, there is other streams of this gift that you can pour into, right? I just feel like when you're favored, God starts to put just things into, like, like just people, connections, doors. I can't say nothing, young stars. I'm just Rayan that, like, that's running young stars, but it ain't me. It's not me. It is not me. Like, young stars is blessed, and young stars will forever be blessed. And I always say that young stars is blessed outside of me. Like, outside of me, like, that is God's hand is on YS. Like,
So good.
when you're favored, and that's for dreamers too. You too, Ange. Like, this right here is the very beginning. But I feel like when you are in a position like things are just pouring into you, happening, lining up, and you don't know how, but all you have to do is just
take the first step.
Just take the first step and just do it. Like God will open those doors, bring those people. Sometimes you may not make all the money. It's not about the money. Because guess what? Once you have those resources and things align, the money will come inevitably, like just dropping in you.
Absolutely.
As you.
Absolutely. And thank you for saying that, because I know, and I'm going to segue into ways that we cope with anxiety during this time, right? I know when I was a child, my parents or my loved ones, my guardians would say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But they would never give me an alternative to something for a solution. And I'm a solution minded person. If you tell me and we talk about this problem, but you don't give me a solution, then I'm going to figure it out the way that I know to. So that's why we're going to talk about the issues, but we're going to also talk about coping skills, the way that we've gotten through. For me, with everything going on, some of the things I do to cope with anxiety is I pray. I sing. Frank knows he's a singer. Dominique knows she loves music. She's a worshiper. Singing is so therapeutic. It's so healing. Music in general, to me, is a healing too.
Yeah.
I meditate on scriptures, on affirmations. I like to write. Writing is so therapeutic and has such a healing property for me. I'm at the point where I release my feelings. I don't just hold that stuff in. I believe that the root of anxiety for me is, or a definition for me is, it's a build up of emotions and feelings and things you haven't said or things you needed to release. And after a while, it just overtakes you. So I'm at a point where if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I pray, I'll talk to God, or I'll talk to someone that I trust. I'm going to get another counselor with everything that's going on. People like Dominique, who is trained for those kind of things. I'm a counselor in training. I'm in school for this. Guess what? I'm going to get a counselor and I'm going to talk about these things, because that is, to me, that's how sickness, stress, all of that building up, that is how mental illness, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, that is how it comes about. So that's only a few of the coping methods for me. But go ahead, Frank. You wanted to say something?
I was thinking that one of the things that I find is a definition of anxiety, a recipe for anxiety, is the need to be in control.
Ooh.
And I think for me, what I have worked on a lot during this time is I've given myself the permission to unlearn things that I once, well, this is the way this should be, and this is the way that has to be, and this, because all of those things, once I started losing the idea of having to be in control of my thoughts and having to be in control of my environment and my outcomes, then it automatically creates a valve to release that pressure. And I don't have to feel, I said before this show today, I've released my expectations.
Yes.
Even for myself. I don't have an expectation to look good or to be great or to know everything or to be perfected. I'm present and I'm listening and I'm willing to be wrong.
Absolutely.
I'm willing to be wrong about what I think I know. And I think once you introduce that to your soul, I'm willing to be wrong, then you're pliable. No matter what direction the wind blows, you're not so hard-faced that it has to crack. The wind blows and you crack because you're hard-faced. I'm flexible. So wherever the wind blows, I'm able to kind of maneuver and move with it and still be in complete form when that wind stops blowing. So
Yeah.
You know, Donna,
Yeah, we did talk about that. And I think part of being successful does have an element of planning things and being excellent, operating in a spirit of excellence, and almost being in control. I know I've been called a control freak several times, but I agree with Frank that. At this time, I think maybe even since I had the baby in December, I've had to learn that it's okay not to be perfect and not to have it 100% correct, but to respond and to be present in the moment is also important. I don't want to say that it's most important, but it's essential as well to be present in the moment, to respond for whenever the crisis occurs. So oftentimes in the work that I did, I worked in crisis for 4 years, where I worked for Metropolitan Crisis for 4 years, where when people were experiencing crisis situations, some type of mental health emergency, they would call and we would pick up the phone. And one of the most important responses to a crisis situation is just to listen. And so we don't have to have the right words. Oftentimes people just need to feel heard. And we don't necessarily have to have a specific formula, but oftentimes if people feel heard, that is therapeutic in and of itself. To be an open vessel, to be supportive to the person, and to allow them to release whatever they've been holding on to is therapeutic in and of itself. So I'm glad that you responded and that you gave yourself permission not to do all the research, not to have it down, have all the facts down, imperfection, but to respond and to open a space for more conversation to eliminate the stigma, because we have a big stigma in our community about mental health services, and that not telling anybody your business, and that's for white folks, that's for crazy folks. No, it's not. It's for anyone who needs help, and everybody needs somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
And not just Jesus. We
love how you said one part of your creativity actually birthed another part that you didn't even realize was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The grinding, I'm sure you did the 10,000 hours, the mastery of a master musician, and that went into that. Okay, so let's talk about the part of the creative process that needs or warrants patience. Tell me about your 10,000 hours and the mastery part, because everybody sees Sean Keys, the success, all of the accolades and all of the great people who you work with, which we'll get into next. But what about those times where you were grinding and nobody saw you and you were in the background?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you, the road to success is very bumpy. but here it is. I would have it no other way, because I think it makes you appreciate, the end game, or the end goal, I should say. But yeah, man, it's like, you got to think about it. I started off being a musician. I started out just playing, went off to college, started, playing for a recording artist at the time, doing some traveling. And we would have these rehearsals and this is part of the grind, and this is kind of how it led up to me knowing that I could kind of start writing and creating music. We would come in these rehearsals, and the band and I would be there already, because we would have a band rehearsal before the actual group would come in. And the artist would come in and start singing these songs or singing these melodies, and we didn't even know. And we would literally on the spot, it would be up to me to okay, we about to create a song right now in rehearsal. So I think that helped with being able to create quickly. So, he would come in and start singing, and we'd be like, okay, all right, let's just do this. And then the band would just kind of fall in. We'd all start kind of collabing. And then I started kind of realizing that, man, hey, maybe I actually can kind of compose and produce music and stuff like that. So when I got a little bit older, moved on to start my own production company, I said, well, look, I'm actually going to jump out here and try to do this, so from there, I said, okay, if I'm going to be a producer, I got to know everything there is to know, or at least as much as I can about doing what I do. So I started trying to learn different, DAWs or digital audio workstations, which is like Pro Tools and Logic and things like that. And let me tell you, that is one of the most frustrating things there is to learn, especially if you don't have anybody sitting there holding your hand as you're doing it, so to speak. Man, there have been times that I wanted to take my computer and throw it out of the window and bust it on the concrete. There's been times that I have actually done a whole session, a whole song, and hit the wrong button and deleted everything.
Oh.
So I mean, I would never look. I will never forget. There was a time that I was producing the majority of the artists for this independent label, and we had a showcase to do in Atlanta. So at that time, I was doing everything. I was recording them, I was producing them, I was engineering them, I was doing all of their TV tracks, which are performance tracks and all of that, because I had all the sessions. So there's one particular time I'm sitting there, and the show is tomorrow in Atlanta. And I'm sitting there bouncing down TV tracks, and I messed around and put something in the trash can on the computer, and I hit delete. I went to pull the session up. All the files were gone. So I literally had to sit there and recreate the song again in order to have it for the show, which was the next day in Atlanta. Now, mind you, I didn't go to bed that night. I ran out of the studio. I bounced everything down, got everything down, jumped in the shower, and I had to be at church on the West Bank. That same day, left there, drove to Atlanta. Everything was a success. But that's just part of like the grind of it and like the disappointment and then the success. But one thing that taught me was just always to never give up on what you're doing. Just keep grinding. So, from that, just, spun off into doing other things. And I just kept trying to sharpen my skills, learning, YouTube. I can't say that enough. Man, YouTube has been a blessing to me. And then just getting around other people that are doing it, looking at other people that are doing it, watching on social media, other people that are doing it, people that are doing it. And I always would say, man, find somebody that's doing it greater than you.
Yeah.
And aspire to, like we talked about earlier, not be like them, but to do it as good as them, and then use your own little sprinkle to make make your own waves in the industry. But man,
So, what is your initiation into the creative process? I ask every single guest, y'all know, I ask every single guest who comes on, what is your definition, or how do you define creativity or a creative?
Okay, so a creative to me is a person who is working within their purpose. It's a person who is driven not by the dollar signs, but by the effect that they have on people and inspiring people and motivating whatever it is through something that they have the ability to do and that they're good at. And that's pretty much what a creative means to me. And there's so many people who are creative. We don't think about the amount of money, or money is not our aim. Our aim is to inspire people and to change the world, leave this place better than we came. And money and all that other stuff comes from that.
I love that. And that just shows me a glimpse of your heart, because I feel the same way. When I was reading your definition, I was like, wow, this girl really gets it. And I just love it, like what you said about purpose and not worrying about the money and it's going to come later. But as long as you're living in your purpose and you're touching people with your form of art or your form of creativity. So I love that. And guess what? You're going to win in life.
Yes.
You're going to win.
Yes, absolutely.
And just following that path and being passionate. You heard her say it. She doesn't chase the money.
Yeah. be about purpose. Always purpose before a paycheck. I'm big on purpose. People who are really close to me know I'm really, really big on purpose. You know, so many people lost their jobs now and they're just trying to find a way to get that money. But you have to sit down and realize if you're not doing what God sent you here for, you're gonna get just what you need. It's not gonna be your full potential. Like, you have to realize that in order to reach your highest potential, the highest level, you have to work within purpose. It's so much a job can give you, but just, you know, be on purpose, better yourself, and just keep going. Don't do it for don't do it for the money, y'all.
The money will come.
The money will come. I promise you. I promise you.
I love that. How do you define creativity or being a creative?
I would define creativity or being a creative simply as freely being authentic, freely being what you feel in that moment, just really just being free in who you are. And so in whatever artistry you have, like really just being in that moment and living freely in it, I feel like that's what produces creativity. Trusting what you have, you know, and just flowing in that moment.
Being stage management, just working my way through the ranks, because now I have a better understanding more than ever of how things should go, or if somebody's messing over me or not messing over me, or if they're actually doing what they need to do, or how things should just flow, because I work the background. So I agree with that.
It isn't necessary. You know, you have to do, what's the word I'm looking for? It's basically a prerequisite. That's not what I wanted to say, but you gotta pay your dues. That's what I wanted to say. Like, you have to pay your dues to your talent, to your future. You know, you just gotta get the experience. That's the best teacher. And if you're trying to skip that, like, you're gonna fall short. You're gonna miss something that you probably wouldn't have missed if you would just, you know, humbled yourself and stay the course. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta pay your dues, and I mean, there's no way around it. You either gonna learn the slow way and the hard way by trying to figure it out yourself, or you just gonna learn through experience, learn through observation, and, you know, chew up the meat, spit out the bones.
Come on. Trey, question for you.
Okay.
How do you unlock your artistry?
I feel like when you are freely and truly yourself, you know, you can be a true artist. And fans know when it's real and when it's fake. You know what I mean? So I feel like when you are honest with what it means to you, and when you really speak on things that mean a lot to you, I feel like your people hear you and your artistry grows from that. But if you're not sure who you are, you just gone with the wind, you haven't unlocked it yet, you know? Because nobody can be a better you than you. So if you out here trying to, you know, be somebody else, you're not gonna unlock a true artistry. You're just gonna be a copycat. So being a true artist, or releasing your true artistry, is being true to who you are. That's how you unlock it. And everything else will flow.
I love it. What you to do is to look directly into that camera and encourage those people who are new to this whole finding who they are trying to find themselves, trying to find their voice, their artistry. Encourage them. Let them know. Tell them about the process. Like, it's not easy, but look at where you are, and you've been through the process. So
for sure, I would tell you guys to embrace the process. you never want anything microwaved. You want it baked, right? So you can get all your nutrients and get that healthy, hearty meal. So I would say embrace it. Don't be afraid to mess up. Keep going. Don't ever stop. Even when you mess up, learn from the mistakes. Don't make the same mistake over again. Be humble. Be open to constructive criticism. No one owes you anything. Okay? You got to work hard. You put in the work, you pay your dues, you stay true to it, you'll reap some benefits from it, but you gotta keep going. Don't ever stop. And you'll get there. I promise.
Love it. No, but something else I loved about what you said. So, I asked you about your creative niche, and you said my creativity is a feeling and emotion. If I'm not touched by what's going on, I can't create. So, share with the people, like, go deeper into that. What does that mean to you?
What that means to me is like I'm pretty sure even with you, like, you know, you've heard a song, or you heard not necessarily music, or you heard something, seen a movie, like heard some poetry or something, and it did something to you emotionally, like you felt something, like you felt that. And with me, with music, like, and it's weird that you even did it Saturday night. I was in here on YouTube listening to some old, some not really that old, but like some stuff a few years back, I believe by Snarky Puppy. Oh. And the way the music, the way it was playing, I was telling Quintess, I'm like Quintess, the way I'm feeling now, this is what I want everybody to feel when they hear music, or even when they hear my music, when I'm creating. Like, and then even with me, there's times I've been in rehearsals, and you know, at the church, Mount Calvary International Worship Center, Apostle Terry Gullich is our pastor and teacher.
Come on, plug.
But even in choir rehearsals, there's times the praise team is ministering, Pastor DC Cross is singing, and we're there, and it's like I'm feeling something there, and then my creativity starts to rolling because of the emotion that I'm getting from them. So that's how I am. Like, my creativity really doesn't kick in until I start to feel inspired by something. That emotion comes upon me, or that feeling. So that's pretty much, you know, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. Pretty much of that. Like I need to feel it, because I feel like if I'm not feeling it, I don't think it's gonna come across the same way to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, so that's my thing. If I'm not touched by it, I don't think no one else would be touched by it. So that's my thing. If I'm not feeling it, I can't do it. That's just I guess my definition of creative being. You kind of got to get past the opinions of others and the judgments of it. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of have to get past that point of their opinions and judgments, and just go for it. And then if they don't like it, at the end of the day, if you know, like I said, I'm not trying to be deep, but if you know, if I know I'm doing what God told me to do, I'm fine with it. At the end of the day, like, I have to be fine with it. You have to be fine with it. So that's one thing. So of course, with everything, you have to put that with prayer. You have to pray about it. You just can't be doing stuff just to do it. So if you don't know, so if you're not doing what God called or told you to do, you just, you know, pray about it. Ask Him. Get clarity from God, and that's what I do now. That's what I do with anything that I do now. I pray and I get clarity about it. That's why some things I do, some things I don't. So
let's hop straight into it. I'm about to initiate Reggie Nick into the creative game. You ready?
Oh, Lord. All right. Let's go.
I ask every single creative that comes on the show this question.
Okay.
How do you define creativity or being a creative?
That's a toughie. You start off hard. All right. So listen, how do you define it? Let's see. I don't know. For me, I mean, just being a creative is just honestly just giving what's instilled to you, to the world, to the masses. You know, letting your vision and diving in and finding your sound, what makes you happy, what makes you unique, what makes you you in a nutshell. You know, and giving it to the world, like, just unfiltered you know, like, you know, because again, I always tell people, you know, like, if you out there trying to be like the Beyonce, Jay-Z, the Kanye, whoever, then who are you? Are you really a creative or you're a copycat?
Oh, whoa.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just uniquely being you, defining you, and finding yourself as well, and putting yourself out to the masses.
So how would I find my sound?
Finding your sound is really, honestly, you know how like we say in the church, going into your prayer closet, like you really have to dig deep and find who you are, what makes you uniquely you. Some people have the rasp. You know, you had the raspy singers. You had the people that's just very soft singing. You had the people, or even down to the music side of things, you know, you might have been classically trained. But how do you take that classical training and what makes you happy when you play? And how can you implement that? Like, that's you. You got to find out what you naturally like to do and what is natural just for you, period, across the board. That makes you your unique self.
So how do you put your own sprinkle on your twist, your creativity?
Really just the sprinkle is just like the cherry, just walking it. Like walking it and own it. Own your image, own your branding, own your sound, own whatever it is you're doing. I don't care if you making clothing. Like, I don't care if you spoken word, whatever it is, just own it. Like, you have to be confident before the world or the people that's supposed to be purchasing your clothes or buying your music or listening. Like, they don't want to deal with like somebody that's like, I don't know about this. No, be confident in yourself. You know, people really feed off your own confidence.
Absolutely.
Being real, like
confidence sells.
Definitely sells.
Awesome. All right, into that camera and just talk to those creatives like you, right? Those creatives who may be starting off, they want to be engineers, producers. They may want to get their name out there. They may want to get their feet in the door. They may have aspirations working for greats or even to be Grammy nominated or awarded. Like, encourage them on their path to greatness. It didn't happen overnight for you.
It didn't.
So many different people were a part of your master plan. And the best is still yet to come for you. Like, I feel like you are just chipping away at the iceberg. This is not the end for you. So I want you to talk to them and encourage them while they're in their creative process or on their creative journey.
What would I tell you, you creative you? Listen, I'm gonna get straight to the point. Honestly, think about what I said prior to this. Be you. Be you. Let the world accept you for you. Give the world genuine you. Don't sugarcoat it. Give them you. Don't stop. Sleep is important, but how people gonna know you by your work if you're not doing work? So keep that in mind. You have to grind. You do have to, and grind don't mean staying up to 7 o'clock in the morning to wake up at 10 o'clock again. Just misinterpreted. Grind means actually doing it and giving it your best. At least that's my definition. Give it your best and always develop, always study, always learn more. Like, don't ever think that you've reached the highest peak. Is always more to go. There's more things, more levels to this. You know, the biggest, I talked to, I'm trying to think who it was. I can't think of the name right now. I talked to somebody and I was like, man, you just did such and such, man. You just did this, some high thing. Like, you just won a Grammy. They were like, yeah, guess it's time to go try to get some more. Like, because now your expectation is set high. Now whatever you got to do, got to be that or higher. So always level up. Study every day. If people know me, I get on a certain platform and I study, I learn, I stay in tune with what's coming up, what's new. I have a saying that I say, don't take it the wrong way, is never get caught with your pants down. Meaning, like, always find a solution. Never be some artist gonna walk in, creative's gonna try to ask you to do this. If you don't know how to, find out. I don't like getting caught with my pants down. is one of my things. Like, I don't like to I don't know or no. Also, we have a tendency as creatives to focus on the problem when the solution is really going to change the whole situation. Find a solution. The problem, yes, it's okay to identify the problem, but focus on the solution so there won't be no more problem. Yeah. Dig deep. Find your craft. Love your craft. Make your craft you. I grew up saying, starting off in the stuff, I am the studio. If people knew me from way back, every post I used to tag, I am music, I am the studio. So I branded that. Brand yourself. Your name is all you got. We all we got, you did. So I think that's all I got to say about that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, Reggie, let's get into this. All right. You're about to be a part of my creative gang. So, okay. All right. Creative gang. So this is your initiation question. How do you describe or define creativity or being a creative?
I think being a creative person is seeing something that is not already done and finding a way to execute it. So you see what is not already out there, and then you're given a vision to execute it. That's what I feel like a creative person is.
That's beautiful. So a creative is something like a visionary.
A vision? Yeah.
Perfect moment to encourage those creatives who are on a job, right? They may have vision. They may know that something out there, there's something greater out there for them. They're visionaries. They have good hearts. They want to touch people. They want to heal people. They may be scared to start that business. They know that they're supposed to start that business, right?
Right.
What would you say to them?
I would say to trust God and His plan, especially if it's been dropped into you and it keeps showing up. I would say trust that you don't have to jump full force into it like I did. You can start small. You can still work your job and do your business on the side, but just start. If anything, if I can encourage you to do anything, is to just start. Don't let that vision pass you by, because if you don't start executing it, then it could be taken away from you.
Wow. Ooh, wow. Just start.
Just start.
I mean, she just said it all. Just start.
Just start.
That is the way that the creative process was birthed.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you never know who you're supposed to connect or encounter and how you're going to transform their lives. Right. And even with just starting with the creative process in this platform, I've been able to connect with so many great people, right, and to highlight what they're doing and to dig into their creative processes, right, because I just started. Right. Was I a little bit afraid? Yes. Is it challenging at times? Have I faced challenges? Yes. Sometimes am I tired and I just want to quit? Yes. Yeah. But I'm not going to stop, because what I do makes a difference, and I love what you're doing and it's making a difference. So guys, thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much, Vernon. Look, I want you to take, because I really enjoyed this conversation. I feel like I understand worship on a deeper level. I love worship. I love just connecting with the heart of God and just no one else but He and I, and being aligned, right? I want you to take a moment and I want you to speak to those up and coming worship leaders out there, or those creators, or just people who love to worship. Just take a moment to encourage them. Let them know, hey, just speak from your heart. Whatever is on your heart, to encourage those people out there.
So, words of encouragement: don't give up. Do not give up. Working in ministry can sometimes be discouraging, because we work with people. The truth of the matter is, people are flawed. People are human.
people have their own stuff going on. Sometimes it can be discouraging because we can feel, if we're honest about it, that a lot of times there's so many gifted people, so many talented people. Maybe you're feeling overlooked. Maybe you're feeling underused. Maybe you feel as though you're not being used to your full potential. But can I tell you, if you work where you are right now, God will open up every door that needs to be open. He'll create every platform that needs to be created. He'll cause you to walk in every space that you're supposed to walk in, and be okay with some of those doors not being for you, some of those platforms not being for you, and some of those spaces not being for you. Be okay with understanding that what God has for you, like we used to say, it really is for you. And He wants to use you to the greatest level of effectiveness right where you are. Because whether it's one person or 1,000 people, your life, your ministry, your gift, it has value, and God is using it for His glory. Your gift, your testimony, what you went through, the good, the bad, and the ugly. He's using it all for His glory. You are important, you are valuable, and you are necessary to the body of Christ. You're necessary to this world. So do not give up. Keep going. Keep pushing. When God gets ready, He's going to exalt. When God gets ready, He's going to, take you where you need to be. But until then, work with all your heart, with all your mind, serve the Lord with all your strength.
I love that, Vernon. Oh my
Mhm.
God. Vernon said it all. There's this Bible verse, I think it is Psalm 75:6. Do not crucify me if it's not it. But it says that promotion doesn't come from the east, west, north, or south, but it comes from God. So thank you so much for those words of wisdom. Again, thank you so much for being on. Well, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. This was episode 1 of the creative process. I just wanted to show love to all of my creative gang. I love every one of you. And thank you for coming on. There's so much to look forward to in season 2. So stay tuned. Also, I want you to join me at 9 p.m. on Clubhouse. I will place the link on my Facebook page, again, before the conversation transpires. And the link is already in my bio on Instagram. Join me. You don't want to miss this. I'm just really excited about, I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but I'm really excited about this creative conversation that's going to come forth. So join me, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.